What is up? Welcome. How's everybody doing? Woo, says Numazi. Welcome, Numazi Gaming. How's everybody doing? Welcome to the stream. I almost wanted to say welcome to the podcast. I'm so for those of you guys who don't know, I used to be part of a podcast a long time ago for League of Legends called the All MIA podcast, and I sometimes would start the show and I would say, I don't even know if I can remember exactly, but something to the effect of like, welcome everybody to the All MIA podcast. My name is Zeke, and here with me today is Cosmic Comic. I don't remember his name, and then Pandora Paradox. Anyway, that's what I about did. Welcome guys to the stream today. As the title suggests, we're going to be talking about the NXL Windy City Major layout that just dropped yesterday, and we're going to run through that whole thing and come up with hopefully some theories and some breakouts by the end of it. Any major tournament that I ever cover, with the exception of like the European, like NXL Europe circuit, but like all the NXL major events, I will provide breakouts, at least 3, which is usually like some kind of Dorito side push, some kind of snake side push, and some kind of middle push. I will provide that in my Discord server. And if you guys are not a part of the Discord server by now, and this is the second video you've watched of mine, and you've already heard me say this, you're making a mistake by not being a part of the Discord server, okay? Join the Discord server. It's linked in the description below. We have lots of fun conversations about paintball and gaming and just entertainment in general. So if you're looking for people to talk about paintball, even find teammates to play at your local field, it's actually incredible how many people end up finding out that they play at the same field every weekend, which is pretty awesome. So I'm sure at some point we'll come up with a directory of like generally where people live, so that people can just kind of look that up and add themselves to it. But we're going to be covering that today. As always, if you guys are longtime viewers, haven't subscribed, please click the subscribe button. It helps a lot. If you're watching the stream right now, 23 of you, please click the like button. It helps the stream a great deal. It gets it out there very quickly. It helps the YouTube algorithm, so on and so forth. So please click the like button if you're watching it right now, unless you're watching it on a TV. And also, if you're a longtime subscriber and are curious about how to support the channel, first, comment, like, and subscribe, as always. But also consider becoming a member. It does help me out a great deal. There's a few options to choose from, and I'm trying to do more to add more value to that. So hopefully in the future, I'm going to start adding like actual breakouts for people for their local tournaments or specific tournaments and providing that information. We've already had, I don't know, maybe like 10 people attributing the channel to their victories at their local tournaments. So thanks guys for, telling me how you guys are doing as a result of the stuff that I've shared. So thank you so much for that. But you guys may have noticed that I don't have a second stream scheduled for today. It is coming. I just didn't get the chance to finish the thumbnail. So right after this is going to be kind of a advice stream, we'll call it. So I'm going to be giving you guys some advice on various things, including how to play in rain, according to Dan Halliday from Tampa Bay Damage. And thank you so much, Dan, for sharing your insights and information on that. So it'll be a bit of a this is a bit of preemptive, but I might be doing a podcast style thing here moving in the future, where you guys can listen to this as you're traveling to practices and so on and so forth, because I know that what I cover is a lot of educational stuff that's hard to watch while you're driving, and sometimes people just want to listen to paintball stuff as they're heading to practice. So I know I've done the story time podcast in the past. It'll be something similar to that, but maybe more opinionated. I know that people sometimes enjoy hearing me give my hot takes on things. So anyway, just be on the lookout for that. That's going to be after today's stream, so be sure to stick around for that. But I've talked too much. Everybody's freaking out now, I'm sure, and wanting to know what is my opinion on this layout. Matt the Gym Rat, welcome. DK13. Oh, also, and thank you so much to Zarian Omari for the 2-month resub. I keep saying sub membership. I'm so used to Twitch, guys. And also, if you're curious to watch me play Escape from Tarkov, I stream almost every single day. Twitch.tv/ZekeNHD. But let's get into it. So first thing that we always do, as you guys know, is we always draw the zones. And the zones can be tricky, and sometimes they're not super useful in some layouts, but I always start with the outermost zones, which on the Dorito side is called Iowa or Dragon, which we'll call it. And then this is either Arizona or Charger. If you're not going to use any other zones but the outermost zones, use Dragon and Charger. If you're going to use more than that, you should always use Arizona, Iowa, because after that we have, oops, shoot guys, I have to redo these lines. We have this zone on the Dorito side, this zone on the Snake, this zone on the snake number 2, and probably, I mean, it's really, the 2s and 3s can really interchange where they're going to be, honestly, off the break. And this is just a gut check, right? This is our first reactions. So this is Iowa, Nevada, Texas, Oklahoma, Arizona. So the reason we draw these zones is because if we tiger somebody out of one of these zones and we shout to our teammates Oklahoma, that means that there's nobody in this zone, for example. If we shout Texas, that part gets a little tricky because you have to have some context there. But the same is true on the opposite side. If you shout Iowa, that means nobody's in the Iowa. If you shout Nevada, there's nobody in the Nevada. So that's why we draw that. Mike Rhodes, why are my sounds not working, guys? I'm so sorry. I don't know why my note, there it is. So delayed. Mike Rhodes, thank you so much for becoming a member. Guys, it worked. Guys, text-to-speech is working. Okay, for all super chats and memberships, you will hear your name and whatever message you send. I super chats don't actually, or memberships don't come with messages, but super chats do. Okay, sorry, I got excited about that. So now that we do that, the next thing we do is we walk the back line. Oh, something happened to my guns up. I wasn't able to do anything. Let's just reload it here real quick. Hey, shout out. What's up? What's up? All right. So after we do that, then we walk the back line. And what we're primarily concerned about is what open gaps exist for either to be shooting at us or for us to be shooting back. Right? Sorry, guys. This is a little loud. I don't know how well you hear the music, but so obviously huge zone right here up the gut heading towards the snake side of the field. Number 2s are definitely going to be shooting at each other as they cross that gap right here from there to there. So interesting. Let's see if there's any other cross shots that you could shoot. You could shoot the Dorito 1 to Dorito 2 bite if somebody were to take that. I don't know if they will be doing that off the break. We can see that in a minute. Otherwise, you do have a heads up blind you could shoot at your heads up guy or your opponent. And as far as shooting anybody, gifted 5 members, Matt. My guy, thank you, dude. I love you, buddy. Thank you so much, man. We need to do more duo streams, by the way. There's a gap here. Really not great. I don't think you'd shoot the runner if you were to be the guy trying to do that. Running out to the corner then, which is again a cake. I don't know why NXL loves doing this. Obviously, huge heads up gap. I really don't imagine you're going to be running and gunning to this corner, and by this point haven't dove in already or slidden on your side. But we also see that there is a true tape. So good to know. True tape is the case in which both corners can see each other and down the wire, and there's no snake or Dorito bunkers obstructing it. All for the love of the game, buddy. Thank you so much, man. Excited to try this layout this weekend. The 50 looks like a bloodbath all around. Matt, you know my homie Chris. Oh, what's up, Tonlo? What's up, buddy? All right. So meat butter. I see you in the chat, buddy. Welcome. If we look then going the Dorito side, we also have this gap here. So I'm going to turn this down just a little bit. Again, a gap that number 2s can shoot at each other as they're running to their primaries. You also have an up the gut shot, which you could try to shoot your mirror. Doubt that would really work, but you do have an interesting blind, but I don't think it would be safe at all to take this because anybody running to this bunker right here would shoot you. But you do have a gap here if you were decided to use this bunker as a blind. Otherwise, coming out to this can. Wow, this layout looks really similar to the NXL Europe layout, if you guys saw that video. There are blind shots over the top. By the time you're going to be shooting at the Dorito, he's going to be low, though. And interesting, there's a ton of space over here. If you guys see that, like that is a lot of space, which means that the difference between running into this bunker straight and running an L shaping is meaningful. That is a meaningful difference in terms of the route that you take. So if we were to run the baseline, which I think people would probably shoot for, the can guy is going to be your problem. You could have somebody floating out in this gap here where the can is. Not sure that's going to be a factor because they're going to be very exposed if they do that from this guy, who would also be shooting at you. So I'm not sure you have to worry about that. Otherwise, if we get to this corner, we'll call it. Okay, not a true tape, really. I mean, it's sort of a true tape. Bunkers are obviously lined up with the tape itself, but the Doritos can't actually see the wire because of this little mini W, but you can blind fire over the top of it to shoot at each other, so be careful of that. That means that even low wrapping is not very safe because you could get gogged pretty easily. And then obviously you do have some shots that could rain in from here. If the Dorito 1 is standing tall, he could shoot you as well. And that's it. Okay, so with that out of the way, just now we know generally what the... I guess we could look at the home shots and see what exists here. So you obviously have heads up shot to keep the guy honest in front of you. You have a bit of a valley shot right here. You could put paint. That's a really small shot, admittedly. I'm not sure how big that gap will be at the tournament, but at least as far as the layout's concerned, that's pretty small. That you could, though, still shoot the guy going to the Aztec right here, which we would call the God. So you could shoot the God if he was standing tall. Otherwise, you do have a pretty decent shot at the number 2, trying to go out to the Dorito side. And then you can't see anything and going over to the Doritos without it being a blind shot. So you do have a bit of a valley here and maybe some blind shots here. Nothing super positive. And one thing I always say about back centers having no visual information in front of them is that you heavily rely on your teammates to give you that information. Because if, for example, I'm shooting Dorito away and I have no idea if I hit the guy or not, I need my teammates over on the Dorito side to tell me if we tigered somebody out there. So that's interesting. Keep that in mind. It means that this bunker is probably not super great except to shoot over towards the Dorito way, or if you were tall enough to shoot that God over on the snake side right here. So, I mean, over the top, obviously, is great. You can do a lot of, you can apply a lot of pressure by shooting up over the top at your mirror, but I'm not sure how often people are going to be staying at that bunker. But anyway, let's I just want to see the back center. Let's look at the snake side really quick, and then we'll go Dorito side, and then we'll go middle, and then answer any questions you guys have. So running out again to this number 2, shooting cross seems to be probably what people will do most of the time. I suppose if people are going to be running out to the corner, you could shoot that way, but honestly, it looks like just cross shots are so strong. Like, for example, shooting the snake runner from this bunker is just like, that's the best way to kill a snake. If you want to shoot the snake, go the Dorito way, shoot cross. So I would suspect that a pretty standard breakout is going to be here, here, and here. I don't really see a reason to double up the home. I don't really see a reason to double up either of the number 2's positions because the heads up shots are not great. So it looks to be that you want to get out of those back primary bunkers. Going into the God then, obviously you have this insane cross shot that can pluck you out if you're either slow or whatever. Was gifted a membership by Matt. Gabe, well, you're welcome, buddy. You can thank Matt for that. Oh, okay. There we go. Sweet. Hey, guys, 47 of you are watching this video right now. Please, if you're not watching it on the TV, please hit the like button. We only have 19 likes in the video. It does help it out a great deal, so thank you so much. So try not to get to this bunker late, but that's going to be a hard to survive, honestly, to survive that can. Heads up, pretty traditional battle. Got to beat the guy in front of you to be able to get into the snake if you guys stop. However, if you do beat him and somebody's not in this Aztec right here, then you are golden. So, and again, assuming they're not in the 50 as well, it just depends. So for those of you who have not seen me do a layout breakdown before, I like to talk about things in terms of early, mid, and late game. Okay, if you've not seen one of my videos that talks about that, like the front, mid, and back player guides, definitely watch those. You'll understand more of what I'm talking about. But generally speaking, the early game is between the breakout and the first 10 to 15 seconds of a point. Most of the movement you can do in the field from your primary to secondary happens within that window, usually because it's the safest time to do it. Because people are still traveling, they're either sliding in their bunkers or still running and gunning. Accuracy is not dialed in except for the people that, you know, aren't moving very far. So a lot of the times when I'm talking about getting to a position early or quickly is within that early game window. As soon as people make their secondary moves or they're stuck in their primaries, you've now entered the mid game. But I just wanted to make that clear. So a lot of the stuff I'm going to be talking about is like those first 0 to 15 seconds. Again, going out to the corner, you've got a heads up shot, not great. I would imagine you could get stuck in this bunker pretty easily, and especially from that Dorito 1. If the Dorito 1 hears that there's a Cobra, is what we call the snake corner. This is a Cobra. Hey, Matt 9X, it's weird that it's doing the gifted subs now, or the gifted memberships right now. That's interesting. What's up from Quebec, Canada? Love your breakdowns. Thank you, Matt. Thank you. Oh man, we're getting all the notifications. Guys, thank you so much, and thank Matt the Gym Rat for those memberships, by the way. Yeah, that cross shot is really nasty. It would probably be very difficult to survive that, and the drop shots from this Aztec are going to be really hard too. So I would imagine this is a leapfrog bunker, because if you notice, right when you round this corner, if you're low enough, again off the break, if you're low enough, you might be able to go underneath the Aztec's paint, but if he's standing tall shooting at you, he will still shoot you in the face. That's going to be a hard shot to survive. But if you are able to survive it, you can get up to this, we'll call it snake 2. You can get up to this snake 2 really quickly. So this, traditionally, anytime you have a cake in the corner of a bunker or corner of a field, that's usually a leapfrog bunker. You don't want to get stuck there. You want to use it as a way to round and take a different route up to, you know, get up the field. All right, let's keep looking at the snake. So if you get into this snake 1 knuckle or snake 1 cake, the things that we're looking for front players is to see what's going to prevent you from moving up the field, and when you make a move, who's the first person you should shoot at, right? That's what we're primarily concerned with. So no free kills getting into the snake 1, but you do have a pretty okay gap, pretty decent gap, I should say, to hold as far as people trying to bump from the Dorito 1 to Dorito 2. My goodness. Paul V, man, you guys are getting lucky. Paul V, thanks for thanks again, Matt the Gym Rat, for that. We've got what, 4? 5. We've got all 5 people given those memberships. Thank you again, Matt. I love you, buddy. I don't generally recommend front players holding gaps for very long. So if you are going to dive into this snake and shoot a gap, it would be because you're specifically trying to counter something that your opponents are doing. There's a few examples of that, like World Cup 2019, people getting out to their primaries and as the front Dorito 1 and snake 1 players, you would shoot the cross shot on the to stop either side from advancing to their next bunker. But otherwise, I wouldn't generally recommend doing that. As far as this is concerned, it looks like you're pretty safe to make this move. It's possible, I would say, not very likely, but it's possible for this can guy to shoot at the corner, this inside corner of the bunker, and for paint to fall here. But I think you're probably pretty safe to take this bite. It looks like to just go right away to this wedge. So the question is, why would we stop here? It looks to be that the only reason you would stop at this cake is because you want to shoot this gap to specifically counter something your opponents are doing. Otherwise, don't stop at this bunker. Just go low, crawl up to this wedge. You're good to go. Okay. Nice. Trying to make sure y'all get this good info like me. Nice. Thanks, buddy. Thanks for using the emotes. So then what stops you? The next question is, what stops you from going from this snake 2 to snake 3? Is that a snake 50? Oh, it is snake 50. So what stops you from going to snake 2 to snake 50, or viper is what we call it? Sorry, I can't crawl on the ground while I'm this low and not have it kick me up automatically. It looks like if you hug this, nobody can actually see you. If you crawl too high, this Aztec will shoot you in the pack. This guy will also shoot you in the pack. This guy probably won't, and this guy can just see you, I would imagine. I don't know if there's really anything you can do without this guy seeing you, and if he can't shoot you, but he sees you crawling, maybe you hit the actual, not pin. I can't remember what these are called. If you hit this while you're crawling up, he's going to just come and bunker you. So, but otherwise, it doesn't look like there's anything that stops you from getting to the 50. Now, when that's the case in the snake or the Dorito side, it usually means that either teams can get to the 50 no problem. But when you do that, you open yourself up to being ran down. So sometimes, even though you can get to the 50 snake right away, if you know that they're alive in the snake still, it's probably better to stay in this 40 unless you can get really easy kills right away. So let's see who you kill for sure if you get to the snake 50. You don't really kill anybody for sure. So assuming there's nobody here, you might kill the Dorito 1 if he's playing too loose on his bunker. But I really don't think you can kill that guy. Who is this? Oh, you will kill the Aztec for sure. So you'll kill the tower. This is the first shot you're going to take. And you might kill a wedge if they're playing this Dorito wedge looking Dorito side. It's possible for you to not see them depending on how far along the bunker they're playing on the Dorito side. But your first guaranteed kill is going to be that tower for sure. If you back up a little bit, you're going to make this guy, you're either going to kill his pack or you're going to make him, you're going to pinch him out. So not terrible. Honestly, not an impressive 50. These two bunkers right here, excuse me. These two bunkers right here are definitely kill potentials, but that's if you surprise them while they're looking snake side. Otherwise, if they're looking Dorito way, you're not going to see those people. So really the only guaranteed kill you're going to get here is anybody playing in this Aztec on the Dorito side, which is not great. Generally speaking, when you get to the 50, you want to be rewarded for that effort. But I would say that it would probably be worth it to get this 50 if you're going to get at least 2 kills for sure, because then you're trading 1 for 2 if somebody comes and runs you down. But if you shoot one guy and then you get ran in the back and some guy trades, kills you and you don't trade with him and they have positioning in the snake and you traded it for some guy in the back in the Dorito side, that's not really worth it in my opinion. So just be careful about getting this 50 right away without the snake side being killed, or at least one person out of the snake. If you decide to low wrap, you're going to definitely get this guy to flinch. You might not kill him. Anything heads up, you know, same side of the field as we're on, is not really a guaranteed kill, but it's definitely a way to surprise them. So my opinion would be, you can't do this always, but generally speaking, if you check this inside of the field and you shoot here, I would probably just come up over the top right here and shoot one of these, like somewhere here. It's either going to be this Aztec guy or like, so say for example, they have positioning somewhere here in the snake, and then they're either here or here, because they're not going to be in both generally, unless the number 3 decided to push that direction, which again, the number 3 is probably going to do something up the middle on either side. It's probably what they're going to do. So that means that they're going to be in one of these 2 bunkers. As the number 2 is going to be here, and the number 1 is somewhere here, which you don't see. But if you get to the 50 before they do, and you know that, then what I would do is I would just shoot the guy across, and I would come up over the top right here first and check. I would check the god. Okay. I would check these bunkers, this lane right here, and then if nothing, then I would wrap and shoot at the can, which just means that you need to have really, really precise movement here. If you stand up too tall, you show your, you know, your loader or whatever, you're just going to get clipped by the guy in the can. But otherwise, if you take this stand up and then you don't see anything, you can either come up over the top or come right here. Who's going to shoot you if you do this, right? You might get killed from the can. I guess you should check that guy off first. So let's do this. Get to the 50. Check the tower on the Dorito. Check the can. I think these guys are going to kill you if they know you're in the 50. I think this is an easy way that, you know, we've talked about, you don't slice the pie in paintball. You do in like real military CQB tactics or SWAT tactics. You do not slice the pie in paintball. So if you start shooting paint, if this is your first lane, this is your second lane, and then you try to make this your third, and there's somebody in this bunker, they're just going to blow your loader off when you do that, because they'll see the paint coming. If there's weather conditions, they'll see this, you know, they'll see the air coming out of your gun. So maybe not check off this guy. So again, I'll just say shoot the Doritos, check the can, and then come up over the top and then wrap and then go from there. So if you decide to low wrap, again, you have the same shots that you had before on the can. If you low wrap even further, you now have a Dorito guy that you can kill, and definitely this Dorito as well. So wrapping on the 50, pretty strong. You can definitely blow out the Dorito side if they're not past the Dorito 2. And then obviously going up to their Dorito, excuse me. Beam. Yeah, thanks, guys. I don't know why it took me so long. Couldn't there be a bounce from the pins next to the snake? Good question. Let's find out. Yes. Yeah, for sure. So if you're in the 50, right here, and they have a guy in the can, he could probably shoot this bounce and bounce something towards you. It's always a possibility. The thing that I'll always caveat, guys, is how about wrapping the S2 wedge? I'll check in just a second. But I don't really ever do bounce shots on... I mean, I'll like speculate on some, but obviously bounce shots are best to just try, right, with actual paint. I'll usually like highlight the obvious ones, but I don't look for bounce shots in layout reviews because they're just not... It's not productive. Yeah, so the wrapping here is definitely pretty strong if you do on the outside towards the tower. The only thing I always say, if you guys have heard me say this before, I'm sorry, is that this angle for you compared to what they have is really bad. That's an easy way to get yourself killed, which is also the reason why, like, I'm not sure which is better. I'm not sure if it'd be better to stay here and not put yourself in a spot to get easily ran down by going into the 50 or doing that, right? Because staying here, you don't really have any kills. You can come up, you can back off a little bit and shoot the Dorito side. Something I didn't notice before. You can back off from this mini W and shoot this Dorito. I don't know what you guys call that. That could be Dorito 3. It could be Dorito 4, depending on what you want to call that juice box over there. But you could do that. I just feel like this is a much safer space to be in until you have clear information about what's going on the snake side. And then as soon as you do, you can take this bite pretty easily. Otherwise, you all could always, you could always just bait, right? Assuming there's nobody in the can, you could always just hold this angle and then periodically wrap here to see if the guy's crawling if you get there early. Because it might be that people can see, oh, it looks to be easy to get to the snake 50. Nobody's going to shoot me if I take the inside route. Well, knowing that, I don't know how common it'll be that people will wrap. So if you get to the 50, maybe look for that crawl and you can kill somebody. Going to their snake wedge, then home guy is definitely dead pretty quickly. In order for you to make this move, though, this guy has to be gone for sure. The can has to be gone. And obviously nobody needs to be in the snake heads up unless they're just like derping really hard. If they're for some reason here or stuck in this corner, I don't know why they would not come run you down, but Otherwise, coming here, if there's nobody in the snake, you can safely chop off the Dorito side, I would say. Yeah, you've got quite a bit of intel. You can kill the Dorito. We'll call this Dorito 4. You can kill the Dorito 4. You can kill this guy, and then you just come here and run this dude down. So, pretty easy. Not easy, but also if you pass the 50, it looks like if you pass the 50, you can shoot essentially down this lane right here and kill anybody in the 50. Yeah, I would suspect you can see that guy. You'd probably only see his pack, but interesting. Hey, just an observation and suggestion. If you do create the podcast type content, I listen while getting dinner ready for the family, so I'm not always looking at the screen. It gets kind of confusing to follow when you just say here instead of the actual breakdown, directions, locations. Not telling you how to run your podcast, just something I noticed. Yes, that's part of the reason why. Hey guys, 53 of you watching right now, please hit the like button if you're watching. That's part of the reason why I want to do something more like a podcast, is it's just going to be talking, because obviously doing a layout, it's hard for me to call the bunkers. You know, I don't know what people call bunkers on your guys' team. I can tell you what I call them, but not everybody's going to call them those, right? So I totally agree. Saying here, this bunker, this angle, right? Not very good. But that's why these layout breakdowns are meant to be watched. But I want to do some more long form content that does not require to be watched. So we've walked the snake side. We will get more information about what the snake can do when we walk the middle and the Dorito side. So let's walk the Dorito and then we'll do the middle. And then again, answer any questions you have. So again, off the break, I really don't see any reason not to shoot either at the home or for the number 2 running out. It just seems to be pretty obvious. And you could even run out and shoot towards the snake runner if you wanted to kill that guy. So here's something to consider. Okay. You guys have heard me say that you should always have 3 guns up at the very least, if not fighting for 4. You should be trying to have 4 guns up off the break. Anything less than 3 is bad. It's usually an indication of a mistake. However, let's say, for example, this run out to this bunker was very difficult to survive because the home guy was just killing you guys every single point, right? Well, I would say that you can run with your gun down if that meant that you could get it up to shoot the snake runner, right? So you can, if you dive into this bunker right away or just run with your gun down and then immediately get it up, you will have the opportunity to shoot the snake runner before they go out of your zone. So just be aware that, in some layouts, you might only see 2 guns up, really the home guy and whoever's over on the snake side as the number 2. But otherwise, try to see if you can make that run out to the number 2 on the Dorito side with your gun up every point and try to do it very quickly, right? Set up targets to shoot the home either here or to shoot this guy in the number 2 or shoot the snake runner. That's your job if you're going to be playing the number 2 in the Doritos, okay? So then if we look heads up here really quick, what's up from South Carolina? Love your stuff. Mike, thanks, buddy. Welcome. Poppet versus Spool looks like a bunch of drop shots with the Poppet. Yeah, possibly. Saw a lot in that Sacktown. In Sacktown, yeah. Okay. Definitely some drop shots here. You could shoot your mirror. You will get your mirror to flinch, but I would suspect that you could probably go low enough. But something interesting, depending on how the actual layout's set up at the tournament, you could probably shoot the inside of that bunker. It's kind of hard to illustrate, but if you shoot right here, you actually will probably get paint to bounce at them. So just be aware of that usually when you have like a blinded heads up battle, the safest thing to do is just get down on your knees. But even in this case, you could probably wrap hard enough to shoot at each other, or at least to get each other to flinch. You have a very, very strong gap that you can hold, but you can't stop them from getting to that Dorito 2. So really all you're doing is stopping them from going to the corner, which I'm not sure how common that's going to be. We'll see here in a second, but it's okay. The nice thing about this bunker is as a secondary move, it allows you to filter up to this tower, which is a decent bunker to make in response to them getting to this juice box right here. It's a decent move to make in response to that, but it might even be the number 3's job to do that. So we'll see here in just a second. Let's go out to the Dorito 1 here again. A bounce shot. Absolutely. Cross field. Nothing's free. You could definitely get the snake corner guy to freak out a little bit. You do have an inside blind shot towards the god, which is only ever used if the god guy, like if for example you find out their snake guy gun battles a lot, it's usually a good idea to as the Dorito 1 guy to shoot cross field just for a second, just shooting on that inside gap, because it'll get them to flinch. You might even get a kill. It happens quite often, and the reason is because, as you guys know, in the early game, hey, member for 4 months, Eric. Welcome. Thanks, buddy. Not welcome. Thanks for re-upping, man, for 4 months. Thanks for being a supporter. But if I was to be in this god position and I needed to get out to the snake, what am I going to do? Right? You guys have heard me talk about the 3 angles before, right? The first angle you come out is angle 1. The second angle you come out is angle 2. And the third angle you come out of is the less obvious one between the, you know, if you had to choose one other angle to go, this is the less obvious one. So that usually means that you go here first and then you go here second. I'm doing a rapid explanation of this because I've talked about it a lot before. If that's the case, then that means that if I'm struggling to get into the snake and I need to fight my way into it, that means that when I go for that over the top shot, I might have paint coming my way and it might gog me because this Dorito 1 guy is keen on, like, as soon as he gets to this Dorito 1, he comes here and shoots over the top towards the god. You might actually get some free kills that way. It's worked against pro teams before. It's definitely a thing. So the other shot you have that could definitely freak out their snake 2, their number 2 on the snake side, is this inside can shot. And you do have an up the gut shot you could shoot in this gap here. I would only do that in response to, you know, you either seeing them take that bite or knowing that that's kind of what they do as a secondary move. Running to the tower and breaking to D3 or going all the way to the wedge. We'll watch that here in just a second. I'm just going to do Dorito side and then we'll do the insides of either side of the field, okay? So have a heads up battle, pretty straightforward. However, we established that nobody can really stop you except this cross shot. So it means that the cross might have to stay for a while. Colton, paintball is pretty much a Tarkov simulation, right? Yeah, dude, for sure. For sure. I play paintball so that I get better at Tarkov. Advice for 3-man in this field. I'll share my advice here at the end of it, but my advice for any layout is going to be the same no matter what the layout is for 3-man. So yeah, it actually looks like this hold. These holds are going to be held for the majority of the early and maybe even most of the mid game, because this gap here is really strong to hold, and it seems to be much stronger than it would be to have the heads up guys hold it. So that's interesting. Crosses are being held probably for a lot longer than I would have expected. If we go again out to this corner, it might be a safer route to take. So it's tricky, but like the difference between going here and then going here and here is this gap right here. Okay, this little lane. Them having to shoot paint here versus them having to shoot paint here is significant enough that might be the difference between you living and dying. The other option that you have is you can go like this, making that distance even larger from the paint that might be landing here versus the paint that would have to land here, right? So that's, you know, sometimes people will shoot up and down quite a bit, but that's hard to, you know, that's hard to do while still holding a zone. So it looks to be that this Dorito corner is a way to get out of that hold from that can cross field. If somebody's just dumping a bunch of paint cross field right here, you might have to go to the corner just to get out, right? Otherwise, again, if we go to the corner, we have some pretty decent shots. In fact, if they're holding the cross here and you know that there's just a Dorito 1 right here, that's actually not a bad place to be, because as soon as you get that Dorito 1 to flinch, no matter where he is, if he's in this Dorito 1 or even this Dorito 2, yeah, you can actually take the bite all the way up to this Dorito right here. So for example, who can see me right now? The only people that can see me right now is wherever the Dorito 1 is in either of those 2 bunkers, maybe in the corner as well. And if this guy just stopped looking cross field. The only reason he would look cross field is if he either killed our snake guy or if he lost the zone. So if he missed him and he made it, right? That's the only reason this guy's going to switch. Otherwise, if he's still holding the zone cross field, then you're free for takeoff, right? Who's going to shoot you when you run all the way? This guy's not going to be able to react quick enough. This guy that was holding that zone, that cross field, unless he's preemptively shooting here, in which case, if you wrap right here and you see a bunch of paint landing right here, then you know this is where you have to stop instead of going here. Otherwise, if you don't see this paint, you should go to the Dorito right away. Because Zerk, imagine if you die, you lose your gear. It's just a bunch of pink slip matches. That'd be insane. If a paintball match, not just a point, but an entire match was a pink slip game, that'd be insane. So yeah, otherwise you can take this bite up to this juice box. I'm not sure what you guys want to call this. And then really it's just a matter of waiting out that stream right here and then getting here. Again, if they kill your snake runner or they give up on the cross because your guy got past their paint, then this guy's going to be a problem. But otherwise, I really think these people are going to be staying cross for a lot of the points, which does mean that the up the center moves are going to be really strong. Punching up the middle is going to be strong because if we're holding a zone like this, if these are the zones that we're holding, then look all the space that's empty. That's a space. That's space that nobody can see. The way that you protect yourself against that is that as you're shooting this zone, you check up the middle every so often and then go back. You check, go out. But you'll even see that this is being blocked right here. This is blocking a lot of vision. If we do the same thing on the Doritos, we have a bit more leniency. But again, look, that tower. This tower right here is blocking our vision. So if we use that line then to draw those, then this is the play space that we've got to move up the middle and not be seen. So we'll look at that here in a second. Can the Snake 2 wing stop the D2 to juice box to D3 move? Yes. So that's, again, I'm just trying to assess I'm trying to assess either side of the field, only considering the backside and what's heads up. Once we look at both sides, then we can start to consider what cross field shots exist. But again, one thing that I would say is it might be, actually, I might even just have to stop myself now and say it might be that the Snake's job is to shoot cross field for the majority of the points. That if they get to whatever, this Snake, for example, if they get here to this Snake 2, which is free, then their job might be to just hold this cross field shot for a while, right? But in either case, that's only going to prevent somebody from taking the bite from here to here. Otherwise, this move is free, right? Because again, who's going to shoot me? Who's going to shoot me? Nobody on the Snake side can see me. This guy can't see me. Oh, I need to close those curtains. Actually, that guy can't see me. Excuse me. I'm having a brain fart here. So those inside towers might disrupt a lot, and we'll have to look at that once we walk the middle. But I'm just considering what is heads up, and then we'll refine our hypotheses afterwards. So, okay, getting up to this Dorito. Sorry, I don't mean to belabor the point. This is a shot that I would be worried about for you. The Snake guy can hide from you if you miss your shots. This is a shot towards you that's going to put you, essentially living behind your gun. So it's going to force you out towards the tape. Anybody that's in the corner might be able to nick you. So you just got to play small in your bunkers for sure. No, DK, don't be sorry. Don't be sorry at all. No. Don't be sorry. Wrapping then, looking towards the can. This guy, if he's still not looking your way, if he's switched, could be a pod pack kill depending on how far away they're playing from their bunker. And then otherwise there's no free kills after. No. You might be able to kill the home guy. The home and the tower guy right here are other two threats. So it looks to be that for either side, once you get up the field, these home guys and these towers are going to be really quickly put behind their guns, meaning that as soon as either one of them sees you and you guys are engaging in a gunfight, those guys, these back three bunkers are in a tough spot. Seems like the middle can hold those zones more safely. Yes. So it might be, I'm saying all of these things, but if somebody just punches out the middle right off the break, they probably are going to stop that pretty easily, right? Oh, I don't know why I just lost my camera. We might have to go without it, boys. Give me just a second. Okay. I don't know what happened. If it happens again, we'll have to just do this without a camera, which is fine. Nobody cares. So that's interesting to note that those guys are going to be put behind their guns. It doesn't mean that it's a free kill. It does mean that the chances of killing the hashtag RipCam 2022. It does mean that their chances of survival go pretty far down when you get up the field. And then especially when you get to the 50 here, again, over the top shots are going to be very scary for either of these people. And in fact, you can kill pretty much all three of those backline people. This guy's dead for sure, which does mean we have more kill shots when we get to the 50 Dorito than we do to the 50 Snake, meaning that it's probably safer for the Snakes guys to stop at this wedge. Excuse me, you can't see that at all, which means it's going to be safer for people to stop at this wedge and hold that gap to prevent your team from dying, right? This gap is something that you can do if you come up over the top right here. You can shoot this lane, but these gaps look like what the Snake 2's job is going to be, or the Snake's job is going to be for a good portion of the game, because as soon as they get to this bunker, this person dies, this person dies, this person dies, and this person dies. So the 50 Dorito is very, very strong, very key bunker. So far the key bunkers so far are this and this, and these crossfield shots, but we'll have to figure out what a response is to release the number 2s from shooting that crossfield shot. Obviously, once you get past the 50, it's just kind of like shoot whoever's in front of you. Next packs and backs, kill the guy that's, go run down the guy in front of you. Otherwise, let's look up the middle. So if we run up to this, Aztec, or this tall tower, excuse me, off the break, it's going to be pretty hard to survive. I would suspect that this... Oh, hello. I would suspect that this shot right here is a 50-50, as you guys have heard me say before, meaning that if you decide to take this route and this guy also goes out here shooting towards the middle, you guys will trade 50% of the time. Or not trade. You might trade. Otherwise, your survivability is like 50-50, 50% chance of survival. Because that's a pretty easy shot for either of you people, right? It's possible for you to miss. You're running straight. They're running out, but that's a pretty risky shot. Otherwise, if you survive, you have this really strong hold, really strong hold on the snake side of the field. So I would say that this is a bunker you go to every time, except for the fact that that guy running and gunning out to the can is going to kill you. As far as going up to this wedge, then heads up. Let's see. Let's look heads up really quick. If you get... Okay, so interesting. So if you get a Tiger 1 off the Dorito side, let's say you kill the Dorito runner. This crossfield shot kills him right here. If you Tiger that guy and you went out to here as the number 2, I think your immediate response should be to go here and shoot this gap. Assuming you can do so safely. So that's kind of an if A, then B. We're going to need to draw it. If A, then B. Doesn't matter. So that's how you incorporate high-level paintball into your game, is to just understand certain situations that happen in certain positions. So if you're the number 2, again, you hear Tiger. We say, so if I was to look down this field from this direction, this is left, obviously, and this is right. And what we would say if we Tiger somebody off the break as they're running out there, we would say Ricky, or we would say Lucy. If we kill 2, it'd be double Lucy or double Ricky. Okay. Oop, that's 2. Double Ricky, meaning that both people are dead on this side and both people are dead on that side, either or. So if you hear Lucy, it's probably that you killed their runner, in which case you can come up here. Even if you didn't kill their Dorito runner and you only killed the number 2, if you killed this guy right here, I still think this might be a really good move to make, because as soon as you make this move and, like, let's say you check off whatever's going on over on up the center and you get here quickly, your ability to bait whatever the Dorito 1 guy's doing is pretty strong. So it might be that they decide to, like, backtrack and go to the corner. I don't know why they would, or to get themselves in, like, maybe a bit of a safer bunker. In either case, if you make this move in the early game, this is going to be a surprising gap to be held. So let's say, for example, dude, we need a video on those callouts. Actually, I provided a video on various callouts. Actually, I like Lucy, Rick. Oh, I like that, Lucy, Ricky. Well, Lucy, I think, is actually spelled L-U-C-Y, but actually, it's a good question. I'm not sure. So, again, you have a pretty decent bait to hold. This is enough of a gap that you could probably respond to somebody moving, but it would be pretty hard. You have to have a good reaction time to be able to kill a guy that explodes out of this bunker without shooting at him already. So, maybe try to hold this bait. You know, if you Tiger the Dorito 1 guy and you come up here, you know, I'm thinking... You might have to put some paint there beforehand. Otherwise, if somebody just explodes out of that bunker really quickly, you're not going to kill that guy. Looking on the inside of this wedge, then, you have a really strong hold from the God if they didn't get past that point. A little bit of a threat from this wedge from that cake as we established. And then... Oh, interesting. That's right. So this is what this looks like from our perspective, okay? That 50 snake is probably more of a threat to us than we are to them. Lucy equals left, Ricky equals right. Don't worry, brother. I got you. Thanks, buddy. No, dude, it's all good. So yeah, pretty interesting. As far as getting up then to this wedge, super exposed to this 50 snake. Oh wait, is that the 50 snake? No, it's not. Snake 2, very exposed to the snake 2. In fact, I don't think this would be... I'm looking at it now. I don't think you can make this move without knowing what's going on the snake side. Because if you come up here to try and hold the Doritos, I think you're getting your pack blown off pretty easily. So it looks to be that the if A then B play is if you Tiger their runner, or have reason to believe that you do, I think you just go here and then hold this gap. I don't think you really gain anything from going up to this wedge other than being in prime positioning to run someone down, or shooting somewhere on the snake side. But it seems to be that you're much safer to go here. The only difference, however, we said is if they get to this 50, they're going to put you behind your gun. So if you come here and they get to that 50 snake, which we just said is pretty easy to get to, look at that. Wait, where is it? There it is. This is the 50 snake right here. So if you hear 50 snake and you're in this tower, you have to play this side of your bunker, which you can do because if you play even right here, you're kind of in this blind right here, right? There's nobody who can see you using this as your cover. So you're just really concerned about this guy. But again, that's if you get a Tiger 1. I probably wouldn't go here if you didn't get a Tiger 1 off the Dorito. I would say. Don't mind us, Zeke, just having a friendly conversation. And that's next level paintball, JJJ. And a fair amount of people will likely sit in the snake too, and I doubt they'll play heads up much. Yeah, probably. Okay, let's look then at the snake side up the center. So if we go out to, again, we've established that if we go here, we can shoot cross and then come up to this tower. Wait, sorry. I'm looking for bounces. I don't really think there's anything. I don't know. The only thing I could see you doing is shooting this right here. If you heard that they got into the snake, you might shoot that for a second, because at the very least you'll get him to like be freaked out. But if you shoot here and the paint's gonna bounce down, you might kill somebody in their pack if they're trying to go up quickly to the 50. And shoot nothing. Yeah, for sure. So otherwise, heads up here is not great. Honestly, you could kill somebody over the top if you tigered one out of the snake side and their number 2 is here. But heads up is not great. As far as cross, however, oh wow, this cross field is great. This cross field is much stronger, in my opinion, than the cross field on the Doritos side. So this gap is big. This is a huge gap. You do have to worry about some up the center stuff, but you actually serve as like a pretty strong counter to any sort of up the center moves, depending on how tall you are. If you have a tall number 3 or even a number 2 for that matter, it might be worth it for you guys to send a guy up here quickly, just because you can check off a lot of what's going on up the middle. If somebody tries to get up to these cakes, this wedge or whatever, or just breaks out from the, let's say you tiger the number 2 on the snake side, tiger 1 right here, this guy running out is going to die. So because you'll see him pretty quickly. Sorry, I don't know if you guys hear my family or not, but yeah, these gaps are really, really good, and you're actually pretty safe from the snake side because this guy's not going to threaten your positioning as much as being over here, right? This is a much worse position to be in. You're pretty safe from the snake if you're here. Obviously, you're not safe if the guy's in the 50 Dorito. If the guy's right here, you're in bad shape. Going up to this wedge, then looking heads up. Can't see anything. Can't see anything. You're gonna maybe kill somebody if you surprise him, but you're only gonna kill the 50 snake if he wraps and isn't looking at you and you shoot his loader. I expect people running up the middle early, and I'll be shooting over to see if I can weasel a guy with a drop. Yeah. Otherwise, if you go here, again, kind of the same sort of gaps if you come up a little higher, but not as good from the tower's perspective. Coming here, going low. Obviously have anybody who would try to break out from this position off, as a response to losing a body. But what does make me wonder is, what is this juice box for? So this juice box, you could probably surprise somebody. If the 50 snake wasn't looking your way and you hear 50 snake and you're at this bunker, you actually might be able to come out and shoot. Well, you will be able to shoot him if you remain patient here. Otherwise, if you don't kill him, you're gonna die. But yeah, there's a lot of goofiness that can happen here. So I could imagine a situation in which they have a guy here and they have a guy here, and you decided to make the move to get to this bunker. You tiger the snake and then you look this way, and what you're really looking for is either this gap, or you're trying to make some kind of play where, let's say for example, you come here, look the snake way, you tiger one on the snake, you come here and you look for this guy to make a move to help his guy in front of him, and you tiger this guy. Well, then now boom, that's an easy rundown. It's a super easy rundown. That guy's never going to see that. So if you find that somebody is alone on an island in one of these 2 bunkers, probably the Dorito 4, this is a much easier rundown than it would be to try and dig somebody out of this bunker. But if you know that there's somebody here, this move is really strong, even to take it from that route too. That's a really strong move. This thing is massive. There's no way they're going to stop you. Get low. Let's see. Get low to the next one. Keep shutting down the Doritos. Yeah, it looks to be that the Dorito side is going to be the really strong side. Again, people can get to the 50 snake, but in order for people to stop going to the 50 snake off break, the snakes have to trade with each other, it looks like. The snakes are going to have to run each other down enough points to be like, all right, it's not really worth it for me to get to the snake off the break, because even when I do, I'm not getting a kill. And that's what's going to cause your opponents to back up and stop at the snake 2. And once that happens, it frees up a lot of stuff up the middle. And it allows it, but then it makes the Dorito side the winning side. It makes the Dorito side the side you have to be careful about and to hold. But you also just got to be careful that, as we've said, the snake side shooting cross is pretty strong. But if we have no eyes on the snake, then our guy's just gonna get run down, even in his own snake too, right? So we'll have to figure out what actually stops that from happening. This hold is okay because you can shoot the guy going on the outside route, but you still can't do anything about this inside snake route. Man, guys, I feel bad for you if you're a snake player. I'll be honest. I would not go to this corner to stop anything. But what it tells me is that the snake 1 really needs to protect themselves. So you guys need to be kind of keeping your head on a swivel and just being very careful of being ran down, because there's not really anybody that can stop you from getting shot unless you guys decide to put a guy here and looking heads up, and at most he can maybe stop this run. You could obviously do that if you put a guy here, but this guy is not doing anything on the snake side in this position. So it's one of those where maybe the snake 50 is really good because you can trade out with or you can shoot somebody without being traded with, but we'll see here in just a second. Snake 50 has to be worth it to be even there, for even to be there. Yeah, I agree. Okay, so we've decided snake is fire. So again, we've decided anything past the 50 is just going to be like, you're kind of playing loosey-goosey. You're just trying to, not loosey-goosey, you're playing cheeky is what I like to say. Obviously really strong holds, really strong baits from this guy. If you can get up to their juice box up to 50. Again, the biggest issue is going to be that you're going to get shot in the back if you don't have the snake side cleared. So, okay. So with that, let's put together some things that we've learned so far. And then let's see if we can, find some hidden gems here before we finish. Loosey-goosey or... That's a good question. I'm not sure which way to spell it. All right. So we've established that the cross shot is really strong, and we've established that not even just after the early game, because sometimes shooting a crossfield shot is only good at the breakout, like in the early game as you're running to your bunker. But we've actually figured out that holding this cross is really one of the only ways you're going to stop people from getting into their secondary moves or secondary bunkers on either side of the field. Okay, if you take the snake off the break, you might disrupt a lot of that, because it's always possible for this guy to miss the snake guy, and vice versa. It's always possible for this can guy to miss the Dorito. The Dorito is a bit farther of a run, because if you notice, we're trying to shoot the Dorito past his bunker, whereas we're trying to shoot the snake before he gets to his bunker. We're trying to shoot the snake in this gap, and we're trying to shoot the Dorito in this gap. So I would say that the Dorito 1 to Dorito 2 kill is much easier. Oh wait, can we shoot before that? No, can we? Sorry, I'm having a brain fart. Yeah. So the Dorito 1 is a very safe bunker, except if the home guy shoots him. So I would say that this Dorito 1 bunker is very easy to make. This is a very, very safe bunker to make off the break. So a standard breakout is going to be probably the home guy's shooting for the Dorito guy to try and keep him low. The number 2 on the Dorito side is shooting towards the snake way in this gap. What he'll probably do is shoot this. He'll probably shoot cross, the guy running cross, and then he'll switch. The number 2 on the snake side is going to be shooting for this Dorito gap, but again, he's probably going to shoot up the center first, and then he's going to shoot this gap. So this is okay, so this is the number 3 shot, and then this is first shot for the number 2 on the snake. I know this isn't very helpful. This is the second shot for the number 2 on the snake, and then this is the first shot for the Dorito 2. And this is the second shot for the Dorito 2. Okay. So it's, up the center, cross, up the center, cross. That seems to be the pretty safe thing to do. Obviously, the home guy could shoot the snake way, but there just doesn't seem to be a lot of shots. So then the question is, okay, well, if the home guys are primarily concerned with shooting up the, on the Dorito side, what happens if we decide to push up the middle off the break? So what you could probably do is you could bingo. Oh, that's what it is. Duh. It's this shot right here. I don't know why I was being stupid. So you guys could probably bingo the number 2 on the Dorito side. This guy is going to be a hard bunker to survive, or this position is going to be pretty hard to survive if you got 2 people shooting at him. But what you can do is if this home guy decides to shoot towards the number 2 on the Dorito side right here, then you can just wrap really quickly and see what's going on, like wrap right here. And then you have a few options. You can either take a bite to go here. You can take a bite to go here. I don't think you can really go up the center like that. That would be pretty risky because the home guy has to die first. So what I will say is if you tiger the home guy when you wrap on him, if you kill this guy right here, just know that you have a pretty okay-ish lane to go up the center, because look at this. Here, if the number 3 is gone, the guy straight in front of you, nobody can see you. No one 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 can see you. That Dorito guy's not going to shoot you. No one can see you. No one can see you. Right here is where the first guy is going to see you if he's in the god and he's looking up the center. That's going to be the first guy who sees you. Otherwise, if you come here off the break, you're pretty safe unless the guy gets to the snake 50. But if you come here and the guy stopped at the Dorito 1 for whatever reason because your guy behind you, that's what it is. So here we go. This is part of what I'll include. This is part of what I'll include in my breakouts when I do it when I make them on my Discord server. So let's say, for example, your number 3's here. You tiger the home guy. Okay, you tiger this guy. I really think your move is to go here and set the bait for this dude. And the reason is because once you do that, it actually relieves this guy's job. It makes it so this guy doesn't have to look cross-field. He can actually play heads up now. And doing so would then make this guy feel, excuse me, a lot more confident, but also allow that if a trade happens, let's say this guy does switch to snake side, he gets to the god, and then this guy runs and gets a trade, and then this guy fills right after. Well, the other guy might still be stuck here or here, right? And now you have positioning in the snake and you can get to the 50, no problem. Once you get to the 50, you can wrap. You can just wrap and lock off this zone right here so that nobody can go here. So something to be aware of. That's it. That's in the case that you tiger the middle guy. If you tiger the Dorito 1 off the break, then I think your number 2's job, so let's say your number 1 goes here, I think your number 2's job is to come here and then hold this gap. I think that gap's going to be really hard to get out if that's your response. Now again, people take those moves really quickly, and the only shot you're going to have to stop that guy's move is here. So if he makes it already and you get to this tower, there's not really much you can see after that. So I think you need to take the snake just to have presence, but most will stop and play a long game from the snake too. I agree. Spidey senses say snake is going to be huge if you can get past the 50, but that's going to be a super small and far between play. Yes, absolutely. If you get to the snake 50 and you pass it, and you either pass it and you surprise them, I would imagine in lower divisions, you'll actually have quite a few poisons on either of these bunkers, right? That 2 people are in these bunkers. I don't imagine that's going to ever happen in higher divisions, but again, if you tiger somebody out of the snake and they're stuck in one of these 2 bunkers, your immediate job is to get up to the 50, to get up to their snake. Because as soon as you get to their snake, now is when the game opens up. So that's why we're going over what happens if you tiger one out of either side of the field. Okay, so if you tiger their snake 1, this guy can wrap. Just make sure to check off the can as soon as you do, and you get here. Well, now the home guy's dead for sure. If you back up, anybody that's at the snake, their snake 4 is dead right there. If you back up even further, assume there's nobody at the can right here. If let's say the guy's at the tower, if you back up here, that Dorito's dead. There's a lot of damage you can do from here. If you decide to go up over the top, this Dorito 1's dead. You can really easily close out the game from here. If you come here and go up over the top, this tower guy's dead for sure, and this can's dead. So that's interesting. What that tells us is that the safety valve is to make sure they do not pass this 50. That's the safety valve. If they get to the Dorito 50, or if they get to your snake, that's like major bleeding. Super bleeding. Oh, I know, man, but you also know me. I have a ton of stupid questions No, you don't have stupid questions every stream. Definitely not. Do you think anybody will try to go both tall stand-ups and just cross off the break? I don't think so, because as we've established, this guy is in a really bad spot from the snake's perspective. If they get to the snake 50, this guy's already living behind his gun. From this guy's perspective, it's not as bad, but if they get to the snake, if they get to the Dorito 50 again, it's the snake 50 is easy to make, Dorito 50 not so much, but if they do get to the Dorito 50, both of these guys are dead, right? I would argue even in this Dorito right here and this guy are going to put a lot of pressure on this part of the field. So I don't really think doubling up here is a really good idea. That's why I'm saying I think it's only a good idea to make these moves in response to getting a tiger, or you're trying to bait, right? I think if you go here off the break, even though it's easy to make, I think you're putting yourself in a bad position. That's just me. You can obviously find out when you go play practice and stuff, but just be aware that something I always have to caveat anytime I do these, I call those for sure spots. I don't have a bunch of stupid questions. Yeah. And what's a paintball then? The snake tower will be a release up more in the middle once he loses his spot. Yeah, for sure. So, all right, let's keep going here really quick. So we said if we tiger their number 2 on the Dorito, or excuse me, yeah, if we tiger this guy off the break, there's a lot of stuff we can do right here. This opens up a lot. And we've established that either the snake 2 guy can be a response. I don't know. That's a pretty high IQ play to get somebody crossfield to do something for you. But otherwise, you can do this as well. If you tiger this guy, and let's say the Dorito 1 gets too far down the field and he's an island, this is a really strong release. That's a really good way to kill him. So that just means that if you lose the guy behind you, you either need your number 3 to fill behind, or you need to just be smart and only stop at these bunkers until you know what's going on right here. So don't get too far down the field unless you know you can close the point really quickly. But even if you kill the guy, like let's say you kill this dude and you're right here, let's say it's a 5v4. Okay, and like let's say you're this side of the field and you're this dude right here in this Dorito. Well, even if you like wrap and kill this guy, you still don't know what's going on in the middle, and this guy might equalize the point. And as soon as he kills you, look at all the ground you've just lost. Okay, assuming that your number 3 is in one of these 2 bunkers, you now don't have anybody in this positioning. So just be very careful to get too far down the field without knowing where they are, or without having equalized your side of the field by getting a kill. It won't be a 2-1-3, 2-1-2. Hold on. Wait, so the second man would probably go to the snake can, or the god, or would be in the tape, you think? Yeah, that's a good question. Where does the number 2 go on the snake? I would suspect that the number 2 on the snake is going to go to one of these 2 bunkers as a safe play if their guy is alive in the snake. If you get to the 50, like let's say the point's really drawn out and you're trying to put a lot of pressure on the snake side, it's probably fine to put somebody here and somebody here, because this guy will just stay dedicated on the inside and this guy will watch his tape. That's probably not a bad idea. I just probably wouldn't do that right away. I don't think that's worth the risk. You could probably do a lot of the same that you want to from this play by just doing this and staying here. I would not go to this corner to hold your guys' tape, because this dude right away from a very safe bunker, if he hears Cobra, that guy's job is to start shooting at your toes. And that's going to be really hard to survive, in my opinion. My reason for asking is it looks like you could probably make it straight to the 50 without someone on the tape or God looking into it. Yeah, that's true. So if, for example, like here's something I won't be able to know. Here's something I won't be able to know without just playing the field and you guys telling me is I don't know how safe it's going to be for the number 2 to make this off the within the early game. So let's say, for example, your snake makes it off the break, okay, and he gets up to the 50, and you know, oh, he's in the 50, I gotta help him. And then let's say you're in the can and you decide, okay, I'm gonna bump here and get right behind him. If that's a move you can make pretty safely, and then you find that this is a pretty decent spot to protect your snake guy from, so be it. The only thing I will say is the closer you are to a teammate within a certain distance makes you both really easily ran down from the same guy. So even in a tournament, like for example, let's say you stay dedicated on this tape and this guy snaps you out and he kills you because he's really close, and that's like a really risky gunfight. It's 50-50 at this point, right? That's how close you are. Anybody, no matter how good or bad you are, that's a pretty easy shot. Well, as soon as you die and the guy in front of you was relying on you to stay alive and hold your tape, this guy is also dead, and now you lost 2 people and you didn't even kill the one guy, right? Whereas if you stay somewhere back here, you can provide overwatch that in the case that he runs this dude down, your teammate, while he was looking up the center, you will hopefully kill him in that trade, right? Otherwise, if you're here and you get snapped out while you're trying to hold the wire and then this guy comes, this guy's not going to be able to turn quick enough probably. So that's my only issue with doubling up in the snake. The only reason I would double up in the snake is if the only guy is somewhere back here and you tigered one out of the snake already. In which case you could probably do that. But again, I'm not saying that's a great idea. The snake 2 can head check the tape or hold it if there's another snake. Yeah, I just think that the snake 2, I think this is a utility position right here. This is a safe utility position. I think you go to the 50 when you tigered the snake 1. Or you go to the 50 when you've tigered someone in the back line right here. So if, for example, you're in the snake 2, let's say you don't know where this guy is. Let's say you don't know where this dude is, but you got tiger 1 somewhere back here, and you're right here. This is a position in which I would start fighting the snake guy. I would try to fight that guy. Because at the very least, you trade. You're right. You don't want to snap shoot and die, because then you just equalize the point. But if you can check off and then just come and run this dude down, even if you trade, well, now overall they've lost 2 people on the snake side and you've lost 1, but now somebody on your team is over here and he can fill and open that point up. That weird. Wait, you are not hydrating. You're right, dude. Thanks for the reminder. I need to hydrate because I'm sick. That weird V in the snake at the 50. It looks weird to play the snake too. All that means is that you play off the bunker, but it also provides a lot of over-the-top opportunities. That's the other thing. So if you are playing in the snake 50, for example, or excuse me, the snake 2, it means that you can look at this. If I come out right here, who sees me? Who sees me? Nobody sees me. There's nobody who can see me right now. Okay, unless there was a dude. I'm talking about in the early to mid game. If there's nobody in this bunker, literally no one can see you. Well, what happens if I stand up over the top? Well, now I got a really cool angle on the can guy. Oh, hello. This is a pretty cool shot. You'll surprise a lot of people doing that. And then as soon as you get into flinch, I mean, obviously you're exposing yourself to whatever's going on straight in front of you, right? This is a surprising enough angle that hopefully you can do it quickly. And why is my camera dying? I don't know what that's about. Whatever. Let me try it one more time. I don't know. I'm getting an error. I'm not sure what it's saying. But if you come up over the top, even if you take this angle, so let's say you come right here and you step up right here, that is a surprising. What does it say? Internal temp high, allow it to cool. Oh, okay. Sorry guys, my camera's too hot. I'll have to let it cool off. Sorry, no webcam for right now. But if you take that shot right here, that is a very easy way to surprise the snake or the can guy if he's still holding crossfield on you for whatever reason. I don't know why he would, but that's a really strong shot to take. If we go over to this 50 now all of a sudden, and we do, like I said, this little nipple right here on this mini W allows you to do essentially the same thing. Come up over the top, look here, surprise the can. If the can can't see you, then you can use this as a blind right in front. I mean, it's not a great blind. You're really only blinding the tower. But otherwise, if you come up here to their side, you have a lot of room to work with. You can come up here, shoot the Doritos. You can come over here, shoot the Doritos. You can come up over the top of it. This just provides a real... This, in my opinion, makes the snake really dangerous when you get to their side. If you're on their side of the snake, this is like a fortress for the snake guy. So that's why, in my opinion... the snake 2 on your opponent's side of the field is super strong if we're facing this way. Those are the key bunkers that I'm looking at. Now the question that I have is, what does the number 3 do? Before we finish, excuse me, Tiger the camera. Yeah, for sure. This would be a good layout for NXL to implement the chair bunker, and I see better utilization out of that, to be honest, for sure. But the question that I have then before we finish this part of the stream is, what does the number 3 do? Because I don't think the number 3 back here is very useful. And in the case, there's been a few layouts that were like this. I can't remember which. Maybe it was World Cup 2020, or excuse me, 2021. But this back center does not have a lot of shots on anything. But it does allow for a decent amount of opportunities to like explode from, and it's hard to see where this guy is, right? So for example, if you imagine that you're in this position, the only person that can see you after the breakout is whoever's playing in your heads up position, right? No, the number 2s can't see you, the number 1s can't see you, and vice versa on the other side, right? This is the 1 2 1 2. Excuse me, those are swapped. But the only guy that can see you and what's going on is the heads up, which means that if you tiger your heads up guy, they lose all of their intel. They lose their intel of what's going on in the middle. right? At least up until a certain point, right? We've established if you tiger the guy in front of you and you run up the middle, no one can see you, no one can see you, no one can see you, no one can see you until right here. This would be the first part. This would be the first spot where somebody could see you, and it would be the god looking on the inside of the field. That would be the only guy who could see you until you broke this 50 and you came here and maybe the snake was looking your way for whatever reason. So just be aware that if you're the number 3, you need to be very good at this long range heads up shot by getting this guy to flinch, keeping his, not allowing him to break out for free, right? Holding containment on this dude is going to be really strong, because if, for example, you tiger, let's say you tiger the number 2 on the Dorito side. Well, guess whose job it is to prevent them from filling out? It's your job. Your job is to shoot this dude and not let him break out of this containment. Okay, you tiger one right here. They've got some dude over on the Dorito side, you don't know where, but this dude is the guy you have to stop by just doing this battle. And you're really safe in doing it because no one can see you. The 50 snake will kill you at some point, but we're talking the early game, right? Early, maybe early mid-ish game. So as long as they don't get to the 50, you need to be able to fight this guy until you can get him to not move. And as soon as you win the battle, then you just hold this and you don't let them break out. So now this guy's being suffocated completely by himself. And the same is true for the opposite. So if you tiger the number 2 on the snake side right here, well, now all of a sudden you got the same battle. You got to hold him and not let him get out this way. It is a little trickier because the snake guy can really mess up your day. If you're not paying attention, you just have to keep your head on the swivel as you're fighting this dude. And it might be that what you do in response to that, so let's say, for example, you've got this kind of a standard breakout. Let's say your dude's here, and you're here. Well, if you tiger this guy, tiger 1 here, and their number 3's here, and their snake guy is somewhere up in the snake, it might be that your response to that is to go here as the number 3. Because now, when I do that, I can hold this, or actually, if I stop at the tower, what happens? If I stop here... it's not better, actually. Let me see what this looks like. I wouldn't do that. It might be that you go to the... Do you go to the 50? You could. This would be really risky. You could do that. It might be that you come here. Again, the problem is that you're looking on the inside of the field with whatever is going on the snake on the Dorito side. So I don't know. That doesn't seem to be a good idea. You could come here and surprise somebody if the number 2. So here's the thing. The reason that you make an aggressive push up the middle whenever you tiger the number 2 on either side is because the front player loses a big chunk of their intel. So the front player, the way you suffocate the front player is you push up the middle and make it so that they're really afraid to poke their head up and look up the center, because you've got some kind of trap set up and they don't know where you're at, right? So that's the reason why, like, if you tiger the guy in the back line, push up the center on either side, because then the front player is going to be super scared wherever he's at. Okay. Oh, lost my thing. There we go. Questions, comments, concerns? Like Tiger 1, Dorito 1 is a kill the home. Different words to make, shorter to say. Shooting someone. Oh, what does Tiger mean? Sorry, I didn't answer that. Content on cam too steamy. Absolutely, dude. This would be a good layout for NXL. I read that already. If you have any other questions, definitely join the Discord. All right, I'll link it. Hopefully it doesn't kick me for linking something. It shouldn't. It's also in the description down below. Get in that. There's a ton of use in it, and they all are super inviting. If you have any questions, we can help you out. Looks like it just blocked it. Oh, sad. It is in the description of this video. All right. Kind of awkward. When I go to transition to my full screen video, there's nothing. I'm not here. But the second part of today's stream, so that's it for this portion of the stream. If you're watching this as a YouTube video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all those things. Let me know down below what you've learned, and also be sure to join the Discord server. Again, if you join the Discord server, I will be providing breakouts sometime next week about for things for you to try. I might even be providing them tomorrow. I'm just not sure. Those breakouts do take a lot of time and consideration, so that is a big perk to being part of the Discord community. Otherwise, if you guys want to stick around, I'll be sure to send you the link in this chat, in this live stream's chat, for the next stream that's happening. I haven't posted it yet because I was creating the thumbnail, so give me about 10 minutes and then we'll be over there in about 10 minutes or so. If you guys want to come hang out, I'll be giving you advice on just paintball in general, how to get better, and I'm also going to be providing you advice on how to play in different weather conditions, given the information that Dan Halliday from Tampa Bay, Dan Holiday. I don't know why I say Holiday. Dan Holiday from Tampa Bay Damage shared with us. He's also part of the Discord community. Love the guy, super active. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.